So War Tycoon has recently been updating the game quite consistently, and with this it obviously means that some updates will be better and some will be worse. Today we're going to be taking a look into the top suggestions in the War Tycoon official Discord server to take a look at some of your ideas and what you want to have added into the game. So anyway, let's just jump right into it. This is going to be episode 21. If you guys would like to see an after episode, then do let me know in the comment section. Anyway, the first one over here is going to be bomb cam for bombers, let you see where you're bombing. This is actually very important because these days if you want to bomb from like 2000 studs or something, it's almost impossible because you're never gonna know where you have to aim because you really do not have the bomb cam. Now the next one being, could you guys put the Vietnam bunker here instead because the current spot is kinda too out of the way. Anyways, thanks for reading. So personally, I'm not really a big fan of this suggestion. The reason being is because if they put it here, it would actually interfere with the drone room because the drone room actually extends this way, so you're pretty much just going to be interrupting the entrance of or the drone room itself. So I feel like it would probably not be the best idea, and I feel like they had to put it near the World War II bunker simply because they had no other space since the bunker is already very heavily occupied. Anyway, the next suggestion over here is this game needs an anti-drone vehicle because the drone EMP is old and not used by players. This anti-drone vehicle named the Mtor can replace the drone EMP because it will be used from all players. To be honest, this is a good suggestion, but I feel like it's not needed as much as of the current moment, just simply because there isn't really many drones being used in the game as of this current moment. Maybe you will see them every now and then, like one every hour in a server, but that's probably going to be about it. I could only really agree with them adding this into the game if they actually do more drone updates and something that's actually a lot more detailed, so this counter would actually work a lot better, kind of like we have the Patriot and the Panzer for the anti-air. Anyway, the next suggestion over here is stop nerfing the B2. It has one purpose and there's thousands of ways to counter it, just bring it back to its original form. I actually have to agree with this one. Everyone is upset about the B2 being nerfed just as much as I am. I am really sad this has happened, but you know, we can't really do much about it. Anyway, add something that says cross trading isn't allowed in the trading hub. Literally every trading server I joined, there are 3+ people trading game passes and getting scammed. Well, there was already an announcement on that in the official Discord server. If we head into here, Age already warned everyone in the community about this, but there's not much more that they can do than that. Anyway, this could be pretty cool to actually give us a message, but that's going to be about it. Anyway, once again, another person asking for the aircraft carrier. I'm not going to be reading this out because it's once again the same suggestion over and over again. However, this one, add a white phosphor night vision variant. I feel like the green has been annoying. It is now time for a new one. Not just this, but instead of having to use an entire helmet for night vision, it could be an addition for the helmet you want to wear, or add a customization system for gear and personal equipment to make kit loadouts and have more variety and not the exact vests and helmets we have had. Honestly, this is a good suggestion. I feel like currently the helmets are very useful in the game. Maybe if they also decrease the damage you take to the head would also work pretty well. It would make sense. I think there could be a lot of cool ways in which they could do it, but for now I think just making it blue is probably better than green. The green has been really annoying for me personally as well. Anyway, once again, people asking for please buffing the speedy oil extractor. Honestly, agreed. I mean, it is a pretty cool game pass. It can be helpful at times if you're just getting started in the game or if you're constantly rebirthing. This can be useful, but other than that, in the late game it really doesn't give you any benefits. Anyway, next up, the AWACS, add a air radar that can cover 3k miles, but don't put anything like the stealth mode on it or any weapons, but only add flares and 25% capacity that can control the radar and stuff, making a new radar system task, revive 30 people. This is actually a good suggestion. I feel like this would genuinely work in a way as also a support vehicle, and it could help factions actually understand what's going on a lot better, or just a vehicle that basically creates you a map and allows the faction members to communicate through that way. There are many ways in which they could actually make an effective radar. The current one we have in the game can be somewhat useful, but it's definitely not something that right now would work that well for the game. Anyway, once again, next suggestion of nerfing the V22 damage. I've been seeing this recently. It's actually kind of first suggestion. The V22 is OP in its own ways. It does have its counters, but really it is a little bit OP. Anyway, listen to your community. I don't know why this guy's sending this when they have been literally listening to a lot of suggestions in the recent updates. I guess this guy just hasn't had enough. But the next one is please stop adding vehicles that don't even exist, and I actually completely agree with this. We have so many realistic vehicles that they could add into the game, but they decide to give us vehicles which they really shouldn't. Anyway, the next one over here is JLTV buff, faster Javelin lock-on speed, increase FOV on the lock onto the Javelins, faster fire rate on the 25mm HE chain gun damage of the 25mm HE chain gun increase. I think it does 15 damage at a level 0. Make it like 30, I think doubling it would be pretty good. Handling improved, more time to shoot before overheating the chain gun, and of course after shooting the first Javelin missile, instead of needing to wait 5 seconds, make it 2. I feel like this is a good suggestion. I feel like the JOTV right now doesn't really provide many benefits, and for a vehicle that costs Robux, I really don't think it's worth it at all. Something like the Abrams Lex is actually worth it because the Javelin can actually be paired pretty well with its main cannon, its drones, and its overall explosive gun and its machine gun. I feel like the Abrams Lex has enough firepower to actually justify the Javelin's use of actually allowing you to pretty much have wall hacks. With this one, it's not very useful because you only have a cannon and a machine gun, which are pretty weak, and it doesn't really give it that much advantage of knowing where people are. Anyway, nerf the flippin' Osprey. Once again, a similar suggestion to this. Pretty fair. Honestly, this thing is pretty OP, but like I said, it does have some counters to it. Anyway, the next person is once again asking for a V22 nerf. Holy moly, so many people are asking for this. Anyway, idea, buff the A10 Gatling gun. Reason, A10 must have a powerful gun. However, result of testing F22 gun is better than A10 gun. There is a damage to shield, which F22 does more, and the A10 does less, and the A10 needs gun damage buff. Okay, the thing with the A10 damage buff is that it's already amazing against tanks, and people are testing against shields. I think people are failing to understand that damage multipliers actually exist in this game, and the biggest multiplication is actually going to be going for the tanks. I think the tanks fully just get shredded around 3 seconds by the A10's gun, unlike a lot of other vehicles which shredded after like 5 to 6 seconds. So the A10 definitely has an advantage against tanks, but I guess against shields, this suggestion's kinda meh in my opinion. Anyway, the next one over here, I want to say that the game has a lot of classes with operations, soldiers, vehicles, drones, pilot, Vietnam, tank, planes, ships, and they've added hovercrafts to water. It will be nice to add a class to them submarines. So people want the submarines to have a homing torpedoes, different types of rockets, periscope as a sight, and a homing rockets with separate camera with a long cooldown. As an option, you can spawn submarines in the bunker with direct access to sea. This will make the gameplay more interesting and give you a chance to survive if you are not allowed to leave the base, because people are obviously spawn killing you. That's a really good suggestion. I think submarines should be added, and the way in which they should spawn at least somewhat far from the base, so people do not have an option to actually see or just keep on spawn killing you. Anyway, add riot shield health, fully agreed. I think the riot shield has actually settled into the meta and it's somewhat balanced now, but adding health to it will kind of make it a little more balanced than it already is. Anyway, once again, the next suggestion over here is adding the Cleric XLR. Let me quickly see if they have any special features for it. Compatible with programmable air burst rounds, good for anti-infantry. Okay, so this would basically have a very high area damage. It would have 2 machine guns, smoke grenade launchers, and features. Auto loader, we already know about this. We pretty much have pretty fast reload for a lot of tanks already. Fast turret reverse advance, RWS machine gun can track or automatically shoot down armed drones. So what it's saying is basically AI against drones. I mean, the drones ain't very useful in this game as of now. The stats of it will be 45 miles per hour. We need some kind of tanks which could be useful in our own way, except for just being good at everything. I feel like that's kind of what we're missing with a lot of tanks. Anyway, the next suggestion over here is once again basically adding a vehicle that will work as a boxer replacement, and this would be, I forgot what this vehicle's name actually was. This was one of the strikers, which it would have 4 stingers, 2 longbow hellfire lock-on surface-to-air missiles. It would have a cannon. Honestly, a good suggestion. I feel like it could work as a good replacement for either the boxer or the lava, since they did get power crept. I'm kind of just reading this message as quick as possible without actually going over all the details as he says here, because it just makes this video a lot faster. Anyway, the next suggestion over here is Flank Panzer Gepard 1A2. Let's see what its armament will be. 35mm autocannon, it will be smart flak. It would also have a 0.75 damage multiplier against tanks. It would also have 4 Fleek Faust and 2 Stinger missiles. I don't know what these are. Someone let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to be a little more educated. 2.2k stats, lock-on range, can be free fired like the Bradley. Honestly, this is once again another one of those good suggestions. I feel like the base health might just be a little bit too low. I think they could make it something like 1.5k, 1.6k. Anyway, the next suggestion right here is basically a ground vehicle which carries a serum around. This would actually be pretty useful. Honestly, this is very unique, and I'd love this to be added to the game, because once again it could work like a function anti-air vehicle which basically gets defended by every single vehicle around it. I feel like this could create create so much more strategy in the game, and just having an AI serum like this kind of defending you, honestly, I love this to be added to the game. It just needs to have very high range to make it kind of justifiable. Anyway, for the time being, that's going to be everything I have for you guys in today's video. Do let me know in the comment section down below what you think about these suggestions. These have probably been the most unique ones I have read in quite a long time, so I will probably be doing much more episodes of this. Anyway, I'll see you guys next video. Have a great day, and thanks so much for watching, members.